The movie kicks off in a college classroom. We meet a quiet, thoughtful guy named Gary Johnson, who's teaching his students about the famous philosopher Nietzsche. You know, the guy who talks a lot about purpose and identity. One of the students says Nietzsche is all about putting yourself out there, and Gary agrees. But then he hears another student whispering about his car, basically making fun of it. That moment hits Gary hard. He realizes maybe he hasn't really put himself out there at all. Gary then starts telling us about his life. He's a calm, harmless man who lives alone with his 2 cats, funnily named and Ego, like from Psychology. Most people would see him as just a regular guy, but here's the twist. In his free time, Gary secretly works with the New Orleans Police Department. His job? To help catch people who are trying to hire hitmen, basically those who want someone killed. Normally, an undercover cop named Jasper would pretend to be the hitman. But Jasper got suspended for beating up teenagers. So now the police officers Claudette and Phil ask Gary to step in. They want him to pretend to be a hitman to help bust a suspect. Gary is scared. He's never done anything like this, and he's worried the bad guys might really hurt him. But he agrees anyway. Gary takes on a fake identity. He becomes Billy, the hitman. He sits down with the suspect, Craig, and something amazing happens. Gary completely transforms. He doesn't just pretend. He becomes this dark, scary, unpredictable guy. So convincing that even Claudette and Phil are shocked. For a moment, they forget Gary is just a shy teacher. When Craig finally says the words and asks Billy to kill someone, Gary takes the money. And that's the cue. Police storm in and arrest Craig. Boom, got him. After catching that first guy, Gary really finds his rhythm. He starts pretending to be all kinds of different hitmen, adapting his style depending on who he's dealing with. Sometimes cold and scary, sometimes smooth and mysterious. And guess what? It works. One by one, he helps the police catch people trying to hire him to kill someone. But it doesn't stop there. Gary even shows up in court sometimes, because some of these people try to claim that he tricked them or entrapped them into the murder plan. Still, most of them end up going to jail. But a few, they get lucky. Like this one woman. She wanted her husband dead and tried to pay Gary to do it, but during the trial, her husband forgave her, and the jury didn't see enough proof, so she walked free. Meanwhile, back at the college, something interesting happens. Gary's secret life as a fake hitman starts to affect his real life. His students suddenly start paying more attention in class, like they can sense something's different about him. He's more confident, more alive. Then comes the next case. Gary is given a new file. This time it's about a woman named Madison. He checks her out on Facebook for background searches. There's barely anything about her past. No crimes, no red flags. It's like she just appeared after marrying her husband Ray. Gary, using the fake name Ron, meets her at a diner. Madison calmly says she wants Ray dead. She's tired of being stuck in a miserable marriage. But something unexpected happens. Gary falls for her. Yep, this mild-mannered philosophy teacher, who pretends to be a killer in his spare time, starts catching feelings for the woman he's supposed to trap. Instead of taking her money, Gary talks her out of it. He tells her, "Don't do this. You don't want to go to jail." He even convinces her to keep the money and use it to start over, live a better life. When Gary tells his police buddies, Claudette and Phil, they're not happy. They think he just let a criminal walk free. And things get more awkward when Jasper, the original undercover guy, comes back to work. He's angry that the boss seems to like Gary more now. And honestly, the department doesn't want Jasper around anymore. They think he's bad for their image. Later on, Madison sends a text to Ron. She invites him to a dog adoption fair in the park. Funny thing, Gary's more of a cat guy. Remember Ide and Ego? But he goes anyway. At the park, Madison tells him she's divorcing Ray. She also starts to see Gary not as some dangerous hitman, but as a kind-hearted, gentle guy. Gary even plays with the dogs and chats with the kids there. It's clear. He's not Billy or Ron anymore. He's just Gary. They go out again that night and end up back at her place. Things get romantic. They sleep together, and after that, Gary and Madison start dating. But there's one big problem. Gary doesn't tell the cops anything about this. He's keeping his relationship with Madison a secret from everyone, including the police. Things take a dark turn. One night, Gary is out on a date with Madison. They're having a nice time, just enjoying each other's company, when suddenly, Ray, Madison's angry ex, shows up drunk with one of his buddies. Ray sees Madison with Gary, and he loses it. He yells. He threatens her. He even raises his hand like he might hit her. But Gary doesn't back down. He pulls out a gun, serious serious and steady and points it right at Ray. Ray freezes. He's not expecting that, so he backs off and walks away, clearly shaken. Later, Gary and Madison try to calm down and grab some food, but then Gary spots someone unexpected. Jasper, the original undercover cop. He walks over and casually says hi, pretending to be just an old coworker. He doesn't blow Gary's cover, but you can feel the tension. Then Gary gets a new assignment. Another person wants to hire a hitman. This time, the man says his name is Mike. Gary shows up ready to play the role again. But the second he sees the guy, he realizes the truth. Mike is actually Ray. And guess what? Ray wants Gary to kill Madison and her new boyfriend, which is Gary himself. Gary stays calm. He doesn't break character right away. But just when Ray starts to spill too much, Gary flips the script. He drops the act and reveals who he really is, sending Ray running out of the diner, terrified. Gary rushes over to Madison's place and tells her, "Ray tried to have you killed." Some time passes. Back at the police station, Gary gets shocking news. Ray has been found dead, apparently in a drug deal gone wrong, but something doesn't sit right. Gary goes to Madison's house to check on her, and that's when she drops the truth. She killed Ray. She shot him dead. Not in a drug deal, not by accident. She did it after Gary told her Ray wanted her killed. Gary's face drops. He never meant for it to go this far. He looks at Madison, heartbroken, and says, "I'm not a hitman. I was never a hitman. I've been lying to you." And just like that, the magic breaks. Madison is furious. She feels betrayed. She tells Gary to get out. And just like that, everything Gary had with her is over. Things just keep getting more intense. After Ray's death, the police start digging deeper, and guess who they name as the prime suspect? Madison. They find out Ray had recently increased his life insurance by $1 million, and the only person who would get that money? Madison. So now the cops think she had a motive. They come up with a plan, send Gary back to her house, secretly wearing a wire to try and get her to confess. But here's the problem. The cops don't know that Madison already found out Gary's secret, that he was never really a hitman. Still, Gary goes along with the plan. He shows up at Madison's house again, but he's not there to trap her. He quietly pulls out his phone and lets her know the police are listening, so the two put on a performance. Madison pretends she knows nothing. She denies everything, calm and convincing. The police fall for it. For now, she's off the hook, but the danger isn't over yet. Next time Gary goes to visit Madison, he's in for a shock. Jasper is already there. Remember him? The angry ex-undercover cop? Well, now he's planning to blackmail them. He wants a cut of Ray's insurance money. Madison plays it cool. She offers Jasper a beer. He starts talking, getting cocky, but then something happens. He gets weak, dizzy, starts to slur his words. Madison drugged the beer. She starts to panic. She didn't mean to kill him, just to shut him up. That's when Gary makes a bold move. He grabs a plastic bag, places it over Jasper's head, and calmly tells Madison, "We'll stage it as a suicide." He explains, Jasper already had a bad reputation. People thought he was a junkie, a troublemaker. Nobody would miss him. As Jasper takes his final breath, Gary and Madison look at each other. And in this twisted moment, they confess their love for one another. Cut to years later, Gary's life has completely changed. He's still teaching, but now his class is so full, they had to move it to a bigger lecture hall. He's married to Madison. They have 2 kids and even 2 dogs. The calm, gentle man with 2 cats. He's now a full-on family man. One day, their daughter asks them the classic question, "How did you 2 meet?" Gary and Madison smile. They don't tell her about the fake hitman job or the murder or the wiretap. They just say they met at a cafe and that they changed each other's lives. The film ends with a heartfelt message dedicated to the real Gary Johnson. He passed away in 2022. He was a beloved professor, a war veteran, a Buddhist who loved animals, and he never killed a single person. By this, the movie ends in here. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.